Hi everyone, we're back again. This is the Artis with Ivy Reiss. We're the new 905 and GTA show that is focused on compelling topics related to arts and culture and interviewing the top artists, hosts, and movers and shakers in this incredible diverse community. We run out of ThatChannel.com. Today's guest is Frank Veri, who is a motivational speaker, writer, but what makes that amazing is that over 30 years ago, in 1984, he suffered traumatic brain injury. He overcame that before rewiring the brain was even a term in the neuroscience field. He's going to talk about how he came to do that, how he entered his foray into the arts, became a writer, a keynote speaker at huge events, and more. Everyone, please welcome Frank Veri.
Yay! First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on, and I really like the Artis with Ivy Reiss. It fills a gap that I think has been missing for a very, very long time, and it's fantastic. I love the guests that you have. They come from diverse worlds with diverse experiences, etc. Very, very nice.
Absolutely, but we've got to focus on you, and I want to say that this is also a new set. But moving forward, I think the best way for us to move into the interview is to show our viewers a clip from video. This was actually from the Artis launch. Frank's an opinion editorial writer. He's released his latest book about a year ago. It's called Starting Your Online Business, A Beginner's Guide. He runs a website that has numerous tools on marketing, copy editing, as well as drop shipping and other ways that one can make money. However, let's play this video and it'll give you a chance to see what he's like on stage. It's about a 2-minute clip.
I don't particularly believe in the word failure. Well, not particularly. There is no failure. Well, maybe there is. You fail when you give up. Then you failed. I think that's maybe where the word belongs. But if you try something with earnest and genuine willingness and it doesn't work, well, you didn't fail. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing. But, you know, I remembered as a kid riding a bike, that was my whole premise for this. Like, I mean, I've been, I'm going to sound, you know, bring out the violins. I was, you know, yeah, I've been called a failure more times than I care to remember from close people to me. You know, because they didn't believe in my dream, but I did. And so when it didn't work out, you know, it was kind of used against me in that way. But the truth is, I think the term failure doesn't come into our vocabulary until we're older. And then it somehow permeates in our lives in a way that it actually causes invisible walls in front of us to continue on, you know, because we're afraid of being labeled a failure, right? But there is no real failure. When you're a kid riding a bike, did you ever think that you failed? Like, so you get on the bike, never been on one before, you know, it takes a little balance, right? And we never had training wheels, not when I was growing up. You know, you live or you die up by the two wheels. So, you know, I mean, yeah, did I fall? Sure, I did so many times. And I thought, man, I'm never going to do this, I'm never going to do this. But see, the word failure never came in, ever. I just kept trying, you know? I was persistent in trying. And eventually, now I can ride a bike, just like probably most of you here can, right? And that's how pretty much you did it, okay? So that's why I kind of wrote this little piece, and I'm glad it had an impact the way it did.
So that was Frank at the Artis launch in April 2017 for the magazine. And it's true. I mean, right there, he went on to read about his op-ed that was featured in the first issue, and it had a huge impact on people. One of the pull quotes was, "All we have to do is remember a time when persistence and practice finally achieved success." Frank's raw style and candid way of speaking and writing has changed the landscape. At the time, in the clip you just saw, I didn't realize that he had suffered traumatic brain injury. And it was only a year later at the Spotlight event when he was a keynote speaker in February of this year, 2018, that he read to an audience of about 180 people that included MPP Kevin Flynn, Mike Douglas from the Mississauga Arts Council, and numerous other huge names in the top experts in the fields of neuroscience and neuroplasticity. Frank suffered bilateral brain damage in 1984. He started rewiring his brain in 1986. And I'm going to let him talk about the impact that that's had and how he's come to be here today and why he started writing.
Wow. Well, to be honest, it's always so difficult to kind of narrow everything down. There's 36 years of history, basically, that's taken place. Or 35 if you remove this last year, where I've actually started focusing on a different path. But devastating, yes.
What really struck me is in the speech when you say, that people, even those closest to you, called you failure.
Oh, well, yeah.
Were you alluding to what were you talking about?
No, I was always, my heart was always in the right place. I knew that if I admitted defeat, my wife would have left me sooner. She, somewhat materialistic, but aside from that, though, I don't even think that was the case. We'd only been married, I think, about 2 years at the time when I got injured.
Right. And you fell off, so you were head of student council.
Oh, no, yeah, sure. I was on the high school winning soccer, like the All-Ontario Championships for soccer. I was student council president. Yeah, sure.
And your life changed? You fell off a building. What happened?
Well, I fell off. It was a scaffold in a small shop where I got a job as a tool and die maker after training as, for such. And we were working on a specialty product for Shopsy's foods. And the metal that we were using was very exotic and it needed a special oil. So when the head milling master was doing his thing, he would say to me, Frank, can you mind go get some oil? And the oil was kept up on a scaffold,
right?
Just to keep it out of the way because we're using up the floor space underneath. So I went up, and to be honest, I remember standing at the top. I just don't remember anything after that.
But you suffered bilateral brain injury, and doctors told you would be retarded, even though that word's a bit taboo. That is literally what they said, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's exactly what they said. They're after all these psychologists, psychiatrists, and social workers that were involved in my life, after they determined that there was a bilateral damage across both hemispheres, basically they came and said, okay, here's the findings after 2 years. Here's what we discovered, that Frank, you're going to be retarded for the rest of your life, which shook me because in my mind, I don't really remember what I was said or what I was going to say to them, but in my mind I said, I'm not going to be retarded.
Of course.
That was at that moment became my mission to get better.
And that stands out to me. Your 9.5-minute keynote speech at the Art Rewired from the Creative Hemisphere Spotlight event on February 1st at the Waterside Inn in Port Credit. There were gasps in the audience when you said that. I mean, it's unreal.
It's not a term I mean...
No, but in regards to the fact that it's about determination and persistence.
Absolutely.
And that relates to, that one pull quote about a time when persistence pays off. And, I mean, did you have... That speech was incredible. I should mention that an article version will be published of that. And we're not going to say where just yet. And but did you have a little excerpt of that speech you wanted to read, or did you want to talk about it?
Wow. I mean, any particular segment of it? I mean, the bottom line of what I was trying to get at in my speech, maybe we can look at that.
Yeah, for sure.
Was that, adversity, it was not a short run. It's not easy. I'm not even pretending that anybody can do it tomorrow. That's not the case, but anybody can do it. I did it. And after my accident, I had, basic English skills. I had no math skills. I was just, kind of an idiot.
You had to relearn how to read.
And I had to relearn everything, how to be social, all these things. I became a house hermit. I was terrified of outside. I had all kinds of phobias that were manifesting themselves in me. But that was, and I had to get through it. I had to somehow overcome every one of those. And that's basically what I was trying to say in my speech, that you can, like, a brain injury is not a permanent sentence. It doesn't have to be, but you have to be determined.
Absolutely, and that's what leads us to, I mean, this was in 1986. Now you saw, and the term itself, because that is a real concept, the event we did, it talked about, I mean, anyone can look it up, it's a real concept, the brain does rewire itself, but that term did not enter the scientific field of neuroscience until the 1990s.
Yeah, 98, I think it
yeah,
was.
1998, and we confirmed this at the event as well, but you started in 1986. You saw a TVO documentary?
Yeah.
What happened?
That was, I was desperate, trying to figure out how can I get out of this? How can I get better? How can I get better? That's all I had in question mark in my head was, I got to get better. I got to be a contributing member of society. I got to reacquire the admiration of my wife, whatever. And I was watching TV Ontario. There was an episode about these nuns who had the lowest incidence of dementia anywhere else in the country, in Canada, and they were stationed up in Quebec. And the documentary was there to try to determine why. Like, was it a divine intervention that was doing this for them, or what? And they, at the end of the show, they determined that these nuns, no matter how old they were, like, some of them were pretty ripe, and still lucid, like they could have conversations.
And what were they doing?
Oh, right. They spent all their extra time literally doing math puzzles, crossword puzzles, Sudoku, whatever, anything to keep their brain active.
And that's what you ended up doing.
That was the key. That was the answer for me. I knew it when I heard it. I said, oh, okay, I have got to start doing these crosswords. I got to start doing these mathematical problems, all these, like, try to get my brain working. And then that just exploded. Like, not only did I start that, and with, again, great difficulty, it was not an easy path, but I got better. And then
it was a long journey, though.
Yeah.
I'd like to emphasize, I mean, you went through, during this time, it took over 10 years. You went through a divorce, you lost your job, you raised 2 kids,
yeah.
But you also went back to school.
Yeah.
You even failed some classes.
I failed first semester.
Literally rebuilt your life and entered the financial world thereafter. But I mean,
yeah.
You came through.
Yeah.
A huge amount.
Yeah, in those days, I used to, when I started working, again, it's always challenging I'm leaps and bounds today from where I was yesteryear, type thing. But there were times when I would say, I would appreciate what I did. Nobody else kind of understood it, I guess, but I would go around saying, well, where's my 60-minute episode? Like, I'm a survivor, I did it, type
Well,
thing.
Maybe now's your 60
Maybe
minutes.
this is it, so cool, I finally made it.
But you did, and I should say, you even got your real estate license, your scuba diving license. So much you've accomplished. Remarried, but let's talk about. So you rewired your brain, rebuilt your life, raised children, and I didn't even know. And then that aside, like when I met you, I had no clue.
That's the greatest testament I could get is. You didn't know? No,
I had no clue. And you blew the people away. Scientists, you've done speaking events, you've published numerous op-eds, 3 of them are in the Artis. You've got a 4th one coming up on the Me Too movement in Artis number 4, which we'll talk a little bit about at the end.
Yeah.
But let's talk about let's talk about your book, because I think that was kind of the beginning where you realized you want to inspire other people, perhaps. Your book. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. Well, I've always been interested in doing something on the internet because as a safety net for myself, because work you never know, right? And I've always traditionally had a very difficult time keeping work,
right?
For various,
Well, whatever. Well, you've actually been at the same job for over 15 years.
Yeah, this time around. But even so, but even so, there's always rumors. People were like, go around me, things like that. So as a safety net, I wanted to get involved in internet marketing of some sort, like some product sales, whatever. And I spent a great deal of time trying and spending, actually probably a huge amount of money trying to get into the field, and I realized, all this information that they're selling me is absolute garbage. Like, this isn't helping anybody, and I have every right to have a piece of the pie, so to speak. But then, not just me. I mean, everybody should. Everybody should have the ability to earn their own money without working for somebody else.
Absolutely, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, especially in this day and age. And, things are getting so much tougher. I mean, the internet is here. It's not going anywhere. A lot of business is done on it. Look at Amazon now, $1 trillion business through, online sales.
Yeah.
Okay. The mom and pop shops are struggling. If they don't have a web presence, they're pretty much done for, as far as I can tell. So all these things. So yeah, I said I wanted to put something of quality together, something that's actually valuable, that has something to provide for the starting online business person. So
Yes.
you've made up your mind. I wanna go online. I wanna sell stuff online. Okay, where do I start? What do I do? Well,
And that's probably a question a lot of people have.
Absolutely.
Because it's so daunting when there's so much information out there.
Yeah, but not only is there so much information, but it's all wrong.
So
Like,
your
it's all
book, is how to start your online
how
business,
to
a beginner's guide.
Yeah, how to easily start an online business.
Now, you did publish it under a pseudonym,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
for our viewers, they should know. And we will post Frank's contact info at the end, and you can find out how to get his book and also be a member. See his website, sign up for a membership, find out the perks involved with that. But first, just so people aren't confused, so now the book was published under the pseudonym of Franco Casver. It was your first foray into the publishing world.
Right.
Even though I did tell you that your name is very, very good.
No pun intended.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
why did you go with Franco Casver?
That's just part of, I guess, remember now, I started writing this book about 3 years ago, and I was still kind of like what I would call a house hermit, afraid of myself, afraid of attention. And I thought, if I go with a pseudonym, then, just in case I screw up really badly, because I wasn't confident about my skills or my knowledge at the time. So if it burns, it burns. It doesn't take my name with it, right?
Right. Which, that's again, you're so frank and honest. I mean, a lot of people have that. Obviously, we all have these fears.
Do we?
Of course we do.
Okay. I thought they were only my fears, but I can.
But you're talking about them. We do. I think that's why people relate.
They relate, but I see the other fears. I don't see that type of fear. But the only thing stopping anybody who's even watching this, the only thing stopping you right now, quite literally, is fear, and the fear. But really, it's the fear of failure.
Yeah,
right?
and from failure to success was the op-ed published in the Artis one. And you talk about how to overcome that. So you published the book. It's doing well. You launched about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It's an ebook. You're considering going print.
Yeah.
And now what does it give? Now you've got a website too that provides a lot of materials. Would you say your book is a beginner's guide. What type of tools does it give people? How does it help them foray into essentially being financially independent, yet motivating them at the same time? It's about finding their passion a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not like your average how-to book.
No, because in my trials and tribulations for online marketing, or getting established online, I found that it's a real challenge. It's a mental challenge. You have to know yourself a little bit more than you maybe do at the moment, type thing. I mean, it's a great thing to get into, but you have to be a little bit better prepared for it, right? So I've got a whole section on starting your journey, and it covers definition of what failure is. It covers a definition of passion, which I think is really solid. It looks at the understanding of intention versus goals, which is very important.
Yes.
So, and then it goes on to talk about how to create a business model, how to register your business, the business address that you're going to use, and all these things.
And all the differences between, because actually business address is an important element. It really gets into the little things that people might not see at first when they're starting to, I've read your book, when people are wanting to start an online business, and then they encounter all these little things, and it's hard to overcome. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then, but where's your website? Now you offer a membership thing. Your website CC Networks.
Yeah,
what is it?
ccnetworks.biz.
And we will post it on the screen. We can
Oh,
even post it right
thanks.
now as we speak. Frank's website offers a membership, but it also has, you have a bookstore essentially, where you have lots of materials on things
Yeah.
like drop shipping and all of these other ways that someone can make money off having an online business.
Right.
Even I don't really understand drop shipping, but you've talked to me a bit
Mhm.
about it. Tell us a little bit about
Oh,
what is
drop
on the
shipping.
website.
Drop shipping is amazing. If you don't actually ever buy any of the products you're selling. They're all in the warehouse, and there's a particular ordering system that it's an agreement you make with the warehouses. And so then you advertise a particular product on your web presence. And the people, if somebody's going to buy, like if I want to buy it, I'll click on buy, and I'll put in all the information. Well, that information goes to me and to the warehouse. The warehouse takes it, as long as like the credit card is okayed or whatnot, like it's been paid for, they ship it for you. Like
But
they
these
ship
are
it
things
for me.
people need to know. And you talk about copy, marketing tactics.
Oh,
Tell us
yeah,
a bit about
sure.
the website.
Sure, there's an art to copywriting for sure. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's not the most difficult. You can actually learn how to do it. There's a course on that. There's different, like how to take advantage of the social media advertising. There's a course on that.
Amazing.
The website itself has a conversational area. So when you join, you can read the material. It's all there. It's got all the proper links. And this is quality written material too, by the way. It's not just the junk
you've chosen it personally.
Yeah, it's not just the junk I've come across for the last 10 years. This is good stuff. And it sets you on the path. Now, it can't answer everything for you because at some point, you're going to have to make your own decisions. So it can't tell you, do this, do that.
But
right?
it's
But
giving
it'll guide you. Yeah, it's going to guide you right into the right pocket. Then the rest is up to you.
What I think
You
is
know?
nice about it is you've siphoned through the massive information out there
Yeah.
and put it in one place to the extent that now you're writing a course for Noble University for United Nations.
Yeah, right. That's right.
I mean, your motivational speaking, your writing has
Yeah.
got you this.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit
Who
about.
knew?
I mean, so you're writing a course for the United Nations,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I understand it's in the works.
It is. Yeah. It's a work in progress.
And Noble University is an international.
It's an internationally registered university.
Mm-hmm.
It breaks down all the prior stigma of university, like, you don't need any particular grade point average. You don't need, anybody can join it. And the idea of this particular university is to coexist with the earth, so to speak. So whatever, product you have or work that you do, we're going to spread the word. We're going to try to inculcate it into the mindset of everybody, so that, like, for example, Bob Ganguly, who is one of the presiding masters of the university, created an exhaust, or what do you call it, for a car? I just went blank. The muffler.
Yes.
Right.
But no, the exhaust system. There's
There's an exhaust system. Well, yeah, but what he
the catalytic converter.
Right, yeah,
the cat
catalytic converter, but
Mhm.
but it uses a whole different process, which is actually better than the catalytic converter in terms of the environment,
Right.
right? That kind of stuff. Like, that's what he's talking about. That's what the university is about. They're trying to motivate people, to get them to think, and to show everybody else ways that you can still use technology today, or still have what do you call it, your lifestyle, like live in a house, but the house is much more eco-friendly, for example. There's so many ways to do it, but because of the big business, they're so inculcated in a way that they are right now, for them to switch over to this eco-friendly mindset would just cost them billions.
Well, I
God
mean, it
forbid.
brings us back to the death of the electric car and all these other,
Yeah, right. Oh,
these,
yeah.
these documentaries that address the fact of
Yeah, and it's
big
real.
oil and all of that. Of course, it's
Yeah,
real.
yeah, no, it's yeah.
Of course, it's real.
Absolutely real. But the question becomes, what can we do about it? Well, here's an idea. why don't we take engineers and have them develop these things like Bob Ganguly did?
Yeah.
And say, hey, this is what I developed. It's been certified. It's been tested. I'm telling you the truth. It works better,
Right.
and you can demand it and force these companies to deliver it.
Yes.
Right? Or you can order it individually, have somebody install it for you. You can do it on your own, but you're doing your little part that way. Because there is, what other way is there to challenge, the trillions of dollars that are governing our earth right now? Like, you can't,
Absolutely.
right? So this is the way, this is the focus. And not only that, but the university now, it's international. Like, it's literally, like, you could find it in Mumbai, in India. It's in South America, and they're all interlinked. So at some point, it's even going to become, like, say, the university of the world, so to speak.
Well, what I understand about it is that it's nice because it actually provides one of the concepts behind the Noble University is that it provides it's accessible for people in third world countries,
Oh, yeah.
and that's what's
Yeah.
comes down to the United Nations. Now we've only got a couple minutes left,
Okay, sure.
so I want to just again, for anyone that likes a sneak peek of Frank's work, please contact him. He's been published in the Artis. Another piece he did was Intention is the Key to Success.
Absolutely.
That really kind of would give you an idea about the goals section in his book. Order his book on Amazon. The link is on the screen and will be again at the end. And he also had another piece, Accomplished, Just Not Famous, in the third issue, which
Right.
absolutely loved, because it's true. Which talks about how we are
Yeah.
accomplished and essentially self-esteem. But you're coming out with a piece that's very relevant on the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Do you want to just give us one or two sentences that kind of
What can I say?
to tease but not give away too much?
To tease, yeah. Okay. Now, this is all
It's
based
a
on...
man's perspective.
It's a man's... I was going to say, it's a heterosexual...
Yeah,
Like,
but
it's solidly a man's perspective, and not... It's
and
not...
it hasn't been written before.
No, and it's not meant to transcend the different, preferences. It's just this... from my view.
Of course, it's
Right?
opinion
So
editorial.
bottom line is, guys like me, I guess, hetero, love women, and sometimes we become lonely or for whatever reason. Like, I won't get into the actual thingamajig about it.
But you were saying men, which I haven't really heard that said, that men don't take subtlety well.
Oh, that-
And I think that is the core nug of
Yeah,
your
it
piece,
is.
really.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I've read it. I've read the draft. So
Okay, yeah, right. You're right. No, subtlety doesn't work on a man who's in his mind, already involved with the woman that of his affection, right?
Or whatever,
You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't work. It's got to be cut and dry. Stop. That's not right. You're poisoning our relationship. I don't agree with it. Stop. Then that'll snap a reasonable guy back into reality, and he'll feel stupid and back up, and
or whatever. But you're right. I mean, that I think is the difference between the sexes. Women are more subtle. Men may not respond to that, and
No.
perhaps, and someone. That's why again, I like you have what I love about your works is that there's a solution-oriented approach to almost everything, but you break things down into a way that is so accessible. And even with this opinion editorial on the Me Too movement, you're giving solutions to what is simple solutions that are possible to do to actually something that's a complex problem.
Yeah, for sure. That's how I roll.
Yeah. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, our special guest was Frank Veri. Reach out to him via email, check out his website, order his book, and
Or just send me money.
yeah, why not?
That works. Yeah,
And he'll tell you how to make money.
it all works.
And we'll be back in October. The next show airs Friday, October 21st, here at 1 p.m. Guests to be announced, of course. Find the Artis past episodes on www.thatchannel.com. Find the Artis on Facebook as well. And thank you again for tuning in. Have a great day.